This week I'm driving the 2021 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited Rubicon 4xe. The 4xe, it's a hybrid plug-in, so you've got about 35 kilometers of electric range on this one. It's a first for a Jeep Wrangler, so we've got pretty much the best of both worlds. You've got some range on the fully electric side, but you know, if you want to go on a longer distance, you can step in on the hybrid powertrain. So right now, you know, that's a first for the Wrangler model. So there's a few differences when you step up to the 4xe. How you can notice this, it's all the blue little touches all around this Wrangler. You've got the tow hooks in the front. You've got some decals on the hood saying it's a 4xe. The model we're driving this week, it's a Rubicon, so all the lettering, you know, are in blue. Here you've got your recharge port. Like you see, you've got extra protection inside because this is a Jeep. It's built for off-roading, so that's where you recharge your Jeep 4xe. Once again, a lot of blue touches. It's a trail rated 4x4, so it's ready for the trail. If we step in the back of this Wrangler Unlimited, once again, we've got some Bluetooth hooks, and finally the 4xe logo in the back. There are several different models you can put the hybrid powertrain in. This week we've got the top of the line Rubicon. This is the most capable off-road package you can get with the 4xe. So obviously we drove several Rubicon on the channel before. You've got plenty of off-road ready feature on this Wrangler. You've got the steel front bumper in the front and also in the back. The front bumper is ready to acquire a winch. You've got some 33 inches off-road tires from BF Goodrich. Upgraded suspension, locking differential in the front, in the back. You can also disconnect the sway bar. So a bunch of things ready for the trail. But today we're talking about the 4xe, so let's talk a little bit more about this plug-in hybrid. If we step in the back, cargo space is the same for this Wrangler, so you don't lose any cargo space for the batteries. You've got those little bag you can carry your cable to recharge your 4xe, but the rest, it's typical Wrangler. The only difference you're gonna notice inside, it's really where they located the batteries. As you can see here, there's a logo 4xe. That's where we can find the batteries. It's underneath the rear seats. So if I'm pulling this seat just right here, we can see the batteries. Not as the typical electric or plug-in hybrid we can see in other manufacturers, because this is a Wrangler Rubicon. You know, the batteries are inside, protected and higher from the ground. Usually they're you know, on the bottom of the car to have a lower center of gravity. But this is an off-road Rubicon trail-rated Jeep, so we need a little bit higher clearance. That's why the batteries are there. Under the hood, we got a 4-cylinder, 2-liter turbo matched with 2 electric motors. Those electric motors are matched to a 17 kilowatt battery. So the total horsepower, it's good for 375 horsepower and 470 foot-pounds of torque. This engine is matched to an 8-speed transmission. Pretty interesting powertrain under the hood of this Wrangler Unlimited Rubicon. Usually Rubicon models are pretty thirsty, so we'll see on the road if this week we can save on some fuel. And there's a lot of modes also. We can maximize the electric mode. So let's go on the road, see what we can do with this. Behind the wheel of the Wrangler 4xe this week, and you know, I'm pretty surprised. You know, I really like this plug-in hybrid. It works pretty well, and also it's easy to use. It's a big plus for the Jeep products. We've got some switch, some buttons right on the left side of our steering wheel, and it's super easy to use. So we've got a button for the hybrid mode. We got a button also for the electrical mode. mode. So basically with the electrical mode, we can lock it down on the electric mode, and it works pretty well. You know, usually, you know, in other hybrid plug-in I drove before, you know, Ford Fusion, RAV4 Prime, or other, you know, cars like that, you know, you really have to manage the way you're driving to maximize the use of your batteries. But it's not the case with the Jeep. You can just lock it in the electric mode and you stay in the electric mode. And the thing is, the engine won't really step in unless you really need it. In case of emergency, I could say, you know, the engine's gonna, you know, kick in, especially when you do a harsh acceleration, when you really need the power. That's when the gasoline engine's gonna step in. You've got another mode also. It's called the e-save. So if you want to, you know, maximize your use again of your battery, use the regen braking, and, you know, try to you know, maximize, you know, your use of your battery and catch up some kilometers more on your battery, you can use the e-save. That's pretty cool. You know, you've got a range about 34 kilometers on the electric mode. You can go up to 40 kilometers. For some of you guys, you know, these numbers seem, you know, pretty small, but don't forget, you know, we're inside of a Jeep Wrangler. It's not aerodynamic. We're really high off the ground. We've got some beefy off-road tires, 33 inches. So this thing, it's heavy too. We've got steel bumper, locking differential, got all the off-road goodies, and still able to manage maybe 40 kilometers of range. It's pretty good, and that's a big plus for me this week. We don't do any big sacrifice because it's an hybrid plug-in. We know we still have the old Jeep we're used to. We still have the same, you know, grill, tires. The only difference, basically, it's all the blue touches. You know, that's something I don't like about most hybrid plug-in or electric cars. We always have those kind of shitty tires. They're good for mileage. They're good for, you know, less restriction of the air. But from my point of view, most of these tires are not really good on the road. And also, we don't have any funky grille or funky interior. It's still the same Jeep, but we just changed the powertrain. I really like that about the Jeep approach of this hybrid plug-in. All right, speaking of fuel economy this week, that's one of the main reasons why we would choose this hybrid plug-in. I've got two numbers to give you. One is going to be on the hybrid mode, and the other one, it's combined with the electric mode. On the hybrid mode, you can average 10.6 liter per 100 kilometers, and if you utilize the battery range like I did this week, you can do about 8.5 liters per 100 kilometers. So this week I did a little bit more than 250 kilometers. I did 132 kilometers on the gasoline hybrid mode and 134 on the electric mode. So that's pretty good. You know, you really have to utilize, you know, your charging ports and all that. More you recharge it and you use the electric mode, better fuel economy numbers you're able to get. It all depends, you know, the distance between your recharge. This week it was always plugged in at home. I don't have a charger, so on a normal outlet you can expect a full charge after 12 hours of charging, so overnight. And if you have access to a stage 2 charger, 220 volts, you can get a full charge in about 2 hours and 15 minutes. That's pretty much what I got this week. You know, I went on a small little trip for work this week. The business where I had my meeting had a charger, and it took me about 2 hours, and my battery was 96% full. So, you know, that's pretty decent. And once again, you have to maximize, you know, your time on the charging port and try to find those, you know, parking with those charger, and you can really, you know, achieve some serious fuel economy. Price wise, you can get a base 4xe model for a little bit less than 55,000 Canadian, and because of that base price under 55,000, you can apply the 8,000 cash back from the government because it's a hybrid plug-in. So if you buy a base one with the plug-in, you know, powertrain, it can lower down to $43,688. So that's pretty decent, and it's not a base, you know, Wrangler. It's a pretty well-equipped Wrangler with the plug-in. So that's a really good price. The model I'm driving this week, it's good for $62,190. You know, again, cheaper than the Eco Diesel I tested, you know, the last year. It's a big plus for the plug-in, so it's cheaper than the diesel. Probably you can achieve better fuel economy or similar numbers, especially if you maximize your time on your battery. So that's a big plus for the hybrid plug-in. And on top of that, if you can apply, you know, the government program on this, it's a really good price. You know, otherwise driving this Wrangler Unlimited 4xe, it's the typical Wrangler. You know, I drove several models before: the 2-liter, the V6, the Eco Diesel, the Gladiator, the 2 doors, the 4 doors, all of them. So if you want to have more details about my driving impression and more details about the screen, the interiors and all that, go check out my other videos, because basically inside it's all the same. The only difference you get, it's those little stitching in blue, the battery underneath the seats, and pretty much the rest is the same. You know, it's noisy on the road, you know, obviously when you can remove your doors, your roof and all that, it's noisy on the road. Typical Jeep, especially this week, because this one is a little bit quieter than the other models, especially with the hybrid and fully electrical mode. So you hear a little bit more out the outside. This week we have the roof can be open automatically. We don't have to remove it. I like this roof. This is one of my favorite. It's not complicated, and you can open it completely easily with a push of a button. So that's a big plus. But otherwise, you know, interior wise, it's all the same. And also when you're doing some off-roading with this, no sacrifice on your off-road capacity. You know, same tires, same locking differential, still you're able to disconnect your sway bar. It's a real Rubicon. It's pretty capable, and maybe it's even more capable because you've got that instant torque from the electrical motors. And you know, off-roading with that instant torque, it's always a plus because you don't have to rev your engine to get that torque. So you can really control the way your Jeep's gonna behave in off-road situation with the electrical motor. I did some mild off-roading this week, and it works like a charm. It's really fantastic. So you know, other than the actual range on the fully electrical, or if you have a fully electric Jeep, you know, for off-roading, this thing, it's just fantastic because you still have good fuel economy. You've got that instant torque, but again, you're not gonna be, you know, in the middle of the forest in a trail looking for a charger, because you've got the hybrid plug-in and you still have the range of your gasoline engine. So I think it's the best of both worlds, especially right now. You know, it's not everyone who's got access to some chargers, so that's a big plus for the 4xe. Speaking of no sacrifice, you still have the same towing capacity, 3,500 pounds. Performance-wise, you've got a little bit more torque than the gasoline engine, the 2-liter turbo or the V6. So it's pretty quick off the line, similar to the Eco Diesel, I could say. I'm not sure which one is quicker between those two. Obviously, the V8 392 will be quicker. I haven't drove this one yet, but you know, the power is pretty decent. The power on full electric also, it's really good. You know, it's drivable. It's not too slow. The transition between the electric motors and the gasoline engine, it's kind of rough. You know, I had smoother experience with other products before, but it's not a big deal. So overall, you know, I think the 4xe is the best buy for the money, for the powertrain. If we're looking at the fuel economy, 8 liters per 100 kilometers, it's basically half of the typical fuel economy you can get with a normal Rubicon with the V6. You know, I had the 2 doors model and I was averaging around 16 to 18 liters per 100 kilometers. Now I'm in the 8 liters per 100 kilometers, so that's a big plus. You've got great fuel economy, you can go fully electric, but no sacrifice on the style, the off-road capacities, you know, the tires, the look, everything. It's basically the same. And on top of that, you've got some government program here in Canada. You can apply to these 4xe and it gets way cheaper. So, you know, price wise, this is the best powertrain you can get inside of your Wrangler. So let me know in the comments, do you like those new 4xe, or you're just a fan of the old school V6 and that's the only engine you should get inside of these Wrangler, or you're waiting for my review of the Wrangler with the V8 392, because this is probably the last Jeep with a big V8 inside and it's just fun. Let me know in the comments what you think about these Wrangler and these powertrains. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share, and we're gonna see each other on the next review.